Wood Neroli from the house of Bulgari. A lot of times it gets compared to Tom Ford's Neroli Portofino. I'm here to tell you if it's worthy of that comparison and if it actually lives up to its name, Wood Neroli. If you're curious about that, stick around and find out. Hey guys, welcome back to Real Scent Review. Tonight I have another amazing offering. This time it's from the house of Bulgari. It's Wood Neroli. So this one here I've had for quite a while now. I've actually been waiting a while to review it. I personally really enjoy this one. It's one of my favorites for spring, warmer spring days and summer days. And I'm going to be going into depth about what I detect, if it's worthy of the name Wood Neroli, and if it's worthy of those comparisons that it gets a lot of the times to Tom Ford's Neroli Portofino. So let's begin here with the bottle. Typical Bulgari man style bottle here. We got the silver plastic top here, solid glass bottle, and the atomizer twists, locks into place to spray like this. And you can twist it to the side and lock it so that the atomizer does not spray down as a safety feature. Interesting, we got all the information on the bottom here, volume of the bottle, batch code, all that stuff. All in all, I really enjoyed these Bulgari man line bottles. So, gonna get a spray out of this one here. Yeah, the atomizer, it's a short little spurt, kind of concentrated into a relatively thin distribution. Not the most powerful atomizer, but it's not the worst out there by any means either. Wonderful. So, the official note breakdown is the following. In the top, we get Neroli, bergamot. In the mid, we get orange blossom, Virginia cedar, and cypriol oil. And in the dry down, we get woody notes, white musk, ambergris, amber, and leather. Okay, so what I actually detect here is the following. In the top, I definitely get some neroli and some bergamot. In the mid, I get some cedar, bergamot. In the dry down, it's musk, ambroxan, and bergamot to my nose. I definitely don't think there's real ambergris in this. It's definitely being substituted with ambroxan. Having said that, this does smell very natural. Right up front, we're hit with that neroli. So neroli is an extraction of the Seville orange or bitter orange plant. It comes from the leaf. It's actually steam distilled to remove the neroli extract, which differentiates it from orange blossom, which is chemically distilled to remove orange blossom extract. There are differences. So first of all, neroli smells sharp, spicy, green, slightly soapy, whereas orange blossom is much warmer. It's a little bit sweeter. So I definitely detect a very distinct neroli in the top here, mixed with a fresh citrusy bergamot as well. The opening here is amazing. And in the mid here, I definitely get some cedar. I don't know, I've never smelled Virginia cedar. To me, it just smells like regular cedar. So it's a slightly fresh woodiness, very kind of generic type of wood, but it smells very good. The bergamot persists into the middle of this as well. And in the dry down here, definitely musky. There's some salty, kind of sea breezy ambergris, and the bergamot carries down all the way through to the very end here. So, before I asked the question, is the name really accurate? Does this really live up to its name, Wood Neroli? Well, they definitely got the neroli part right. Neroli is very accurate, especially in the beginning here, where we get that ever so slightly floral, spicy kind of citric vibe going on. Absolutely delicious in the opening. But apart from a little bit of cedar in the mid, there's almost no wood. I don't find this overly woody at all. So I don't know, I think maybe a better name for this would have been musk neroli or maybe neroli bergamot. I think either one of those names would have been far more accurate as to the actual scent DNA. However, there's a little tiny bit of cedar. If you really try, you can detect it, and it smells good. It's just not anywhere near being the main note. So all in all, this is a very nice scent. It's spicy, it's fresh, and a little bit citrusy as well. Now, there are a couple of drawbacks in my opinion. I personally love neroli. I love all stages of the lifespan of the neroli note as found in many fragrances. I love how it opens up very spicy and floral, and I especially love how it dries down into very nice kind of fuzzy soapiness. Unfortunately, in this one here, while we are met immediately in the opening with a heavy blast of neroli, I find the Neroli does wear off. The Neroli doesn't have enough time to develop completely. It's like we get the beginning parts of the Neroli, but we don't really get the bottom dry down part of Neroli, which includes the soapiness that I love. It's pretty quickly overtaken by just bergamot and a little bit of cedar towards the mid there. So to me, the Neroli does not last nearly long enough. And on top of that, the Neroli does not get a chance to develop completely, which I find very unfortunate because Neroli is, to me, an amazing note. It's absolutely one of my favorites. Now, Bulgari Wood Neroli was created by Alberto Morillas, the master perfumer. He's responsible for many great fragrances. I definitely include this in his top creations. It's very good. Although Neroli does not last as long as I would like to, I think it's a very good fragrance. Now, having said that, in the dry down here, what we get is musk, ambergris, and bergamot. So the dry down is kind of a fuzzy, slightly sea salty, fresh citrus, which reminds me a lot of the dry down of Dolce & Gabbana's Light Blue Eau Intense, which, believe it or not, is another Alberto Morillas creation. So I find the dry down of this to be very, very, very similar to Dolce & Gabbana's Light Blue Eau Intense, to the point where I would say that this fragrance could kind of be classified as a Light Blue Eau Intense featuring Neroli. They're very, very similar in the dry down. So that's a pretty interesting, if I do say so myself, observation that I've made. I don't know how many of you agree with me. Leave a comment down below, whether you agree with me or not. Share your thoughts. Anyway, all in all, I do think this is a very, very good fragrance. Now let me get to the versatility. The versatility is not the most versatile fragrance out there because it does feature very sharp and a little bit spicy green neroli note at the very beginning, which can a lot of times be associated with some more old school fragrances. I do not think this is dated whatsoever. It doesn't smell like an old man, but it is a little bit more mature than, for example, Dolce & Gabbana's Light Blue Eau Intense. This is definitely more formal, more mature, a little bit more refined, and the note of neroli is not enjoyed by everybody. So keep that in mind before you check this one out. I would wear this. I think this is perfect for hot summer days, and I think it's perfect for warm spring days. I think you can wear it daytime, nighttime, as long as the weather is warm, because in the colder weather, the notes are going to die down very quickly, because the next part of this is the performance. The performance is average at best. As far as longevity, total longevity, I get about 6.5 hours on my skin, and the projection is only about an elbow's length, and that only lasts for maximum 1.5 hours. Unfortunately, however, that is fairly decent performance. It's by no means a beast mode fragrance. The projection is not huge. You're never going to turn anybody off with this, so don't worry about that. You're not going to offend anybody. It's just got average performance. However, I think that is counteracted by the amazing quality of this. This does smell very high quality. To me, it smells of the same quality as Neroli Portofino, for example, by Tom Ford. Now, a lot of people do compare this to Tom Ford's Neroli Portofino. I don't actually own that one because I think it's too expensive, and the performance on that one honestly is not very good. Now, there are a little bit of differences, but there are some absolute similarities. If you smelled this on somebody out in the streets, you could easily mistake this for Tom Ford's Neroli Portofino. This is very similar. This is a little bit more sharp and green in the opening, whereas, to put it very simply, Neroli Portofino is a little bit more sweet, a little bit more citrusy and uplifting, effervescent in the opening parts. They dry down pretty similar, although I would say that Neroli Portofino does maintain that neroli note for a much longer duration than this one does. However, as far as quality goes, as far as quality of blending, quality of ingredients, I definitely think they are at least on par. Very, very similar. There's nothing whatsoever synthetic about this, except maybe you could consider the note of ambroxan synthetic, because it is, but it smells very natural the way it's blended in this. It's a very finely blended cologne here, and the performance is definitely better than Tom Ford's Neroli Portofino. So all in all, I think this is a much better value for money, because you can have this one, 100 milliliter bottle, for $70 US on FragranceNet if you use the coupon. So I'm going to leave that link down below here so you guys can check that out. All in all, guys, if you're new to Neroli, if you've never smelled it before, but you're very curious as to how it smells, I think this is a very, very good buy because it opens up with beautiful Neroli. You're definitely going to get a great idea as to how Neroli smells in a fragrance, and it dries down into something that's just frankly very mass appealing. So it opens up extremely classy, formal, mature, and it dries down into something that's going to easily appeal to almost everybody out there. So really, it's a great fragrance to have in your collection. You can spray this on as many times as you want. I have received compliments from this. I'm not saying that you will. I don't even know if that's important to you. I don't really care myself, although I admit sometimes it is nice to receive an unsolicited compliment from someone. And I definitely have received compliments from people in public. People like this one. The DNA itself is not super unique. I don't think it's really trying to be. It's just really nice, really good for what it is. And it's an absolutely nice departure from a lot of common blue freshies out there because of the Neroli in the opening here. Very nice scent, guys. I highly recommend checking this one out. If those notes sound appealing to you, check it out, guys. Anyway, that's been my review of Bulgari's Wood Neroli. Really hope you guys have enjoyed it. I've enjoyed talking with you guys tonight. Until next time, keep it real.